Engineer Wannabe here, Sanjay, as you guys know, with my friend Bobby here, Mr. McLovin. Good to see you, sir. Hope you're doing well. Thank you guys all for joining us for another episode of Watch Soup. We're going to be having a good one tonight. We were supposed to have Clayton on tonight, but he was not able to make it. So it's just going to be Bobby and I. So I'm grateful that you're here, Bobby. It's going to be fun.
Sure.
How was your day today? What were you up to, and what's on your wrist?
So the whole day actually was updating because I'm switching from Android to an iPhone.
Yeah.
They didn't read together, so I was like updating each and every app,
Oh
and
no.
all that stuff. While, but it was like I was just sitting in it. I'm glad I switched just because I have like you said, the environment of all the other Apple products that I have. I try to push back for the last 6-7 years.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm glad a lot of people in the chat were telling about the battery life, and it's a really good battery life.
Yeah.
And that's probably another uh, reason why, probably the primary reason why I switched.
Yeah. So
And
just battery life. That's
well, the camera, and,
okay.
and then like mine is a Galaxy Note, and it was 4 or 5 years old.
Oh
Um, so it's just a different, a lot of the apps are similar to the system. Just because I've been reacquainted with the Apple
yeah.
system, I think I'm used to it now. I do like some things on the Android. A lot of the usability is better, I think, in the Android, but
Yeah.
and I guess I can trigger a lot of people in the audience too. Is like kind of like Rolex versus Omega, Android versus Apple. So I won't get into that. Just
Yeah. I actually have both. I have an iPhone and Android, multiple Androids actually.
okay.
Um,
So you understand, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I push back like crazy against the Apple ecosystem. I
yeah,
don't use as much as I don't have to use. I don't use. I don't want to be roped in.
true.
Um, but yeah, now I have a MacBook Air, which is insane. It's so good. It's just
Yes, we were talking
yeah,
about it like a couple of months, like the bat. I mean, it's just yeah, the M1
yeah,
chip and everything. Yep, it's great, and I really like the camera on this one, on the iPhone 13,
yeah.
especially with the macro. Like I couldn't do that with the previous Note I had.
Right, yeah, yeah, for sure. And what's on your wrist?
So one watch that you do not like, but I'm
I know what it is.
I so it's winter here, and let us know, let us know, let us know. The Patek Philippe
Oh yeah, there you go.
Nautilus 5711, the discontinued, I guess now, for the last couple of years, but it's
Yeah,
been there for 6. I like the bracelet. I mean, not bracelet, but the wear of it. It's and one of the videos will tell us the comfort of
yeah,
this is very, very nice. I do not like the clasp, but everything else
right.
about this watch is
Yeah, yeah. It's a watch only a mother could love.
great.
I'm just joking. No, it's nice. It's nice. It's much better than the blue dial. I'll say.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and that's one another reason why I think I'm just going to show one more time the legibility. I like watches, and I think James Stacy in the podcast recently mentioned this. I guess a lot of people like in the Polar, Rolex Polar. I like when you have a watch with a white dial,
yeah,
when you have black hand, like blackened, the outline of the hands are black, and then along the loom points it's also blackened. So
yes,
it has that contrast. I do like that a lot, and you can see that in some the Rolex Polar, of course, amongst other models. But I do like my Snoopy Speedmaster. That's why I love the silver Snoopy. The number two one it has a similar black on one. I really like that contrast.
yeah. I like that too. It looks good. That I think does one of the OPs do that? The
I
discontinued OP 39, right?
I think I'm not sure about the discontinued one.
Okay.
I am probably people who are more Rolex, bigger Rolex fans than you're me.
Yeah.
For coming to that, I'm not sure, but there was a white OP. The Milgauss actually was pretty good, to a degree as well. The white
Yeah.
Milgauss.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Let's jump into the chat. I haven't forgotten Myra's check. Don't worry, Bobby.
Sure. I was
Gonna
gonna
do
say,
the Bobby legs zigzag here a little bit. Steve, good to see you, sir. Hope you're doing well. Uh, Thinking about you a lot, Steve. Bill, good to see you as well. Uh, Steve, look at those TT croutons. Kevin, good to see you, man. If you guys are coming in from the Bobby Legs live stream, you guys know that reference. Legendary intro there for Dib. Um, Good to see you, James. And Torrance here too. Good to see you. Wilson, AZ Clayton, Justin. Hey, Joey's here too. Caliber Waikiki. We got Justin, EDC. Good to see you. And hey, Dib. Good to see you as well. Amin's good to see you as well. I think I said hi to Dan. I'm not sure anymore. Hey, Dan. Jared, how's it going, Mr. Seattle Sounders? Uh, I've been getting into soccer again lately, but
Oh,
I don't know.
nice.
I'm a Bundesliga guy, German soccer league. Um, but yeah, just don't have enough time in the day. Bobby Legs, how's it going? Great stream, by the way, man. I really enjoyed it. The parts which I did catch, I had to dip out in the middle, but I'll catch up on that tomorrow. Chaz GS SBGO SBGO. Not too sure.
Okay, if you're
Um,
not sure, then
I mean, I'm pretty sure that doesn't exist. I'm guessing he's wearing his SBGV or
yeah,
SBGP, SBGP 007, I think.
the
That's the one
quartz,
Chaz has. Yeah,
the
9F quartz.
the blue one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, Big camera upgrade. Amin says on the iPhone 13. I have the 12 Pro
I
Max.
did listen to Amin for both the camera. I
Yeah,
got a camera too, and he gave a lot of great advice. Amin did, so thanks
yeah,
for that.
for sure. Way, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Ken Spears here as well. Oh, there we go. Chad's right after. I said SBGP 007. So there we go.
Everything's right with the world now.
Yeah. Steve saying as long as you use Waze on both platforms, life is good. I
True,
don't use
true that.
Waze. Yeah.
Do you guys use Waze up there in Canada?
I used it for a while.
Okay,
Not anymore.
okay,
Google
not
Maps
that.
is easy for me.
Sure.
Yeah. Waze is the Google Maps alternative, right? With the traffic updates
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
Waze, especially in traffic here,
Yeah. Yeah.
back roads.
Yeah. For sure.
It's a lifesaver. Especially there's always crashes on I-95.
Yeah. Um, Bobby Legs asking what happened to your face hair.
My face hair.
Yeah.
Okay, I shed. That's what I did. It's like
It's got new skin.
oh,
Dib's wearing the Black 50 blue. Great choice, Dib. Um,
nice watch.
Justin says, I don't do androids for fear of them becoming sentient. That's good. Hey, Bruno. Good to see you. No pen talk tonight. Okay. Not in. Okay. I was actually. Okay. No pen talk. No pen talk. Chaz loves his MacBook Air. Good to see you, Random Rob, as well, an underachieving watch collector. Says he really needs to upgrade his iPhone.
Typewriter.
Yeah,
That was a good
that's
one.
good. And hey, Thomas is here as well. Everyone's here. Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining us after stream. That's very kind of you all. I appreciate it. Dust Diver, how's it going? He's wearing his SLA 049. Ooh, beautiful. Great choice. James Duffy's wearing the beautiful FBGJ 213. Torn's wearing his white birch. Let's see. All right, I'm just gonna jump down. And actually, well, I'll do the zigzag. So uh, no need to catch up. I have the Zenith Ultra Merlin
Nice.
still. Switched it to a brown strap. Um, yeah, I'm
You
really liking
you
the
got a
combo.
green yesterday, right?
Yeah, yeah. The brown with the white stitching I really like. Works
Yeah,
pretty well.
that's a classic.
Yeah.
That's nice watch. How do you have you been wearing it every single day, or has it just been these last two weekend?
Not every single day. I don't let it wind down. So I've been wearing it 2 3 days, and then because I wear two watches a day, I kind of switch midday. Um, I'll wear it and yeah, wear a couple of other pieces, and then go back to it. Yeah.
How do you like the Panda now? It's been a couple 3-4 weeks now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I love the Panda. I mean, the white is so brilliant white,
mhm.
and the black is such a deep black. It's just awe inspiring every time. I
Nice,
like it.
nice.
Um, yeah. I mean, I kind of gasp every time I see it because it's just seeing the crystal kind of distort the dial a little, and
It looks
it's
great on
very
your wrist. I don't know, like I usually don't- like it looks proportionate. Everything looks great on your wrist. That yeah, it
yeah
just it looks just like it fits everything.
yeah
It's like um
yeah. I was born in the wrong decade.
how many millimeters is it?
37.
37. Okay.
37 tonneau shape case. It wears bigger than 37, so
Okay.
46 lug to 47 lug to lug, I think.
Okay.
47 or 46.
That's a nice proportion right there.
Yeah,
37, 47.
yeah, it's really nice. Uh, Everyday watch guy singing Blackberry still king. But yeah, let's. Jason was saying you can see the excitement drain from Sanjay's face at the thought of no pen talk. I think my pen enthusiasm is kind of peaking, so I won't be like going into like this crazy pen rambles anymore. So you guys can take a breath of relief.
Is it a this is a very hard way to say it. Is it taking away from your watch time, which is maybe a good thing? And two, is it can it like I shouldn't say can it be expensive? Is it as wallet draining as watches can be?
Definitely not as wallet draining.
Okay.
It is taking me a little away from watch time, but not that much.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, like I really enjoy. There's this one guy, Brian Goulet from gouletpens.com. I like listening to him. He's a very pleasant guy. And I've been kind of listening to his podcasts, his Q&As and stuff like that. So, that kind of takes away time that I would spend watching watch videos. But other than that, I'm still researching watches, going to Hodinkee, Monochrome, what's the other one? Wind Up Watch Guys.
Worn and Wild.
Worn around, thank you. Yeah, so just still doing the rounds, but yeah, not nothing taking me away from it. I feel like my interest is peaking, um, because there's only so much with pens. I feel like that you can get into, and then you kind of run out. I don't know. Maybe I'm off key there, but it feels like you run out, and
No.
I don't really appreciate the difference that a steel nib. I'm getting into pen talk. I'm sorry, guys, but really short. A steel nib and a precious metal nib. I don't appreciate the difference as much as other people do for some reason. Like I've got steel nibs that write better than some gold nibs. I've got a couple of gold nibs. Um, so I'm just like, well, okay. Still super interested, but it's peaking. It's like the curve is flattening, right? um, I figured today we get into the comments from last week's video. We haven't done that in a while. That was a Bobby Legs thing, and I feel like I'll always forget about it. And I thought I'd do that this time. So let me bring up the comments here from from last week. Ooh, man, still getting used to this. That's not it. Okay, here we go. So from last week, we got Kevin S. Talking about how he was catching up on the replay and the movie references. I forgot that I did a couple of movie references last week with Clayton from the Watchdog podcast. We were talking about Jerry Maguire. I mentioned in the middle there Glengarry, Glenn Ross. I can't even remember what it was, but he was talking
Always
about
be
it's like,
closing.
sorry?
Oh well, there's a scene. Anyway, I'm not going to get to that. You seen the movie?
No, no.
Okay. All
Sorry, it wasn't with Clayton. It was with Chaz. Sorry, but we were talking about Top Gun, and then it went into Jerry Maguire, and I called it Glengarry Glen Ross, and he was saying it's like confusing Hot Tub Time Machine with Schindler's List. So I haven't watched either of those either, but I'm guessing that's a pretty crazy difference.
yeah.
Um,
You've seen
you
Top Gun, right?
no,
Okay.
Sorry.
Moving on.
Yeah. I just know the quotes. Like I pick up stuff. I'm like a sponge. So when someone mentions like a reference,
Sure.
I'll not get it the first time, but I'll make a mental note of that reference so I can make that reference to other people. And we'll kind of chuckle about it, and then they'll push me further about that reference, and I'll be like, "Yeah, I don't know what you're
Sure.
talking about."
People in chat, if you guys have a list of 5 movies that Sanjay has to watch uh, before the end of the year, just five movies, just a list of them. But it has to be good movies, and like nothing. It has to be, I guess, PG-13 rated. I guess.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean, all
I,
these movies are probably, but these are movies that I think are I think like there's like sometimes there's what I want to do before is like read all the books that you should read before you die. Is like there's a list of 50 books
yeah,
just to, but same thing. I think there's movies also that kind of are pop culture icons.
right.
I believe Top Gun is one of them, but that's just corny me.
Yeah,
For a lot of people wouldn't say that, but I think pop culture wise,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Anyway,
do you guys know about Miles Fisher, right? Bobby?
yep.
Yeah, his like
Tom Cruise
president.
impersonation.
Yeah, Tom Cruise
Yes,
president impersonation
yes,
was great.
yes.
um, but yeah, Neo was saying that we are awesome. Neo, you are amazing. I don't like using the word awesome, but know that I mean that. um, and it's something says could not agree with you more, Chaz. I think we all have to be vigilant these days. You'll notice that some microbrands like Reuter are now trying to position themselves as independents, all in an effort to fool newcomers. So,
Hmm.
uh, fitting kind of segue to Bobby legs the stream. Previously, he was talking about microbrands, so you guys should go check that out. But yeah, um, very true, and it's something. And Wolfgang, kind of feeling bad about the fact that Chaz is independent now too. So that's it. That's it for the comments. And we'll check in with the chat here. Um, he's
It's changed. It's changed to a movie reference chat now, but
yeah.
it's a couple of good ones there. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it's good to see you, Clayton. ATBT Chrono Committee says Chaz. Okay, I'm gonna jump down because I'm curious about the movie. Sorry, guys, if I missed anything. Um, let's see. James Duffy says Top Gun is a great volleyball film. Yeah, okay, I'll take your word for it. Easy Clayton, how do you confuse Hot Tub Time Machine with Schindler's List? Um, no, seeing Fonzie Brady. That's good. All right, Citizen Kane. I don't know Citizen Kane. Um,
That's a black and white movie.
yeah.
It's a long movie. You probably if you're well into movies, then Citizen Kane probably is a good film study.
Okay. Yeah.
Rosebud, yeah,
Isn't Schindler's List is black
black
and
and
white,
white.
right? Yeah.
That's
Um,
I think that's the first movie that Spielberg got a Best Director movie
okay.
award Academy for. I mean, he should have gone a long time ago, but he got it, I think, for Schindler's List.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, watch fam down there, but
um, Justin says I'm a fan of Roadhouse. I'm not sure what that is, but
nice,
yeah,
nice movie there.
I
Good
have
for you.
seen Star Wars.
Okay,
So all the six Star Wars, none of the modern Star Wars. I've seen the six.
okay,
I have controversial thoughts about those,
sure,
which I will not divulge.
sure, no problem.
um, are they doing a Top Gun sequel?
Yes, they are. hmm
Cool. Is
Tom
Tom Cruise
Cruise,
in it?
yep,
Yeah. Okay.
yep. Now he's an instructor. I think that's how they showed the trailer before COVID hit. It was supposed to come
Okay.
before, like during, then COVID hit. Now it's all the Top Gun, Tom Cruise movies are waiting until a good, better time. Mission Impossible, the new movie.
Yeah.
John Wick 1, 2, and 3. That's not a bad thing. But again, I don't think that's your. Are you into action movies? Like
It
really, like
used to be
okay,
like a while ago.
okay.
One that comes to mind is Transporter. Transporter.
Yeah,
Just
Jason
watched.
Statham. Hmm.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I remember something about a guy getting stuffed in a trunk, and
Yes, that's
we
Transpo.
do not talk about the merch.
Exactly. Two
Don't
rules. Got two rules.
no merch. um, keep Sanjay innocent. Stick with Disney. I'm
Yes.
not. I'm not innocent. I may look it, but yeah, I have blood on my hands. Uh, Alien 1979. I think I've seen Alien.
Okay.
Predator. I don't think I have.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Predators. Predator is a great movie. I don't think it's like a get to the chop off.
Yeah, yeah,
Schwarzenegger, but it's a great corny action movie, which is great, like traditional 1980s action movie. Really good movie, but and then Lord of the Rings is pretty good, but
yeah.
long, 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 long.
Skipping down a bit, Justin asked me if I'm a fan of Jar Jar Binks. I, I mean, he was funny. I, I know he's a derided character, but oh well. I can see the problem. You know, he's not in line with any of the characters from the old movies, right? He's a departure. So, but I watched them new too. I didn't watch them old first, and you know, I was just a kid. I didn't know.
Mhm.
Reservoir Dogs. I've heard about that. I've been told to stay away.
Yeah, I would. It's a no. It's a great movie, but it's not
Yeah.
probably not your first movie. I think you should go into like top these other movies before you go to Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
Tarantino's first one. There's another one that was pretty good there. Kaiser Soze. Oh my gosh, The Usual Suspects. Uh,
Kaiser
that's a great
Soze.
thriller movie. Um, great movie.
Cool.
Unfortunately, don't want to say his name because of allegations and all that stuff. But he won an Academy Award for his portrayal.
Hmm.
Die Hard. Have you seen Die Hard? No.
Yes,
Yeah,
I've seen it
the original. That's a pretty good movie. That's
a
actually a good
long
movie.
time ago. So I just remember air vents
Yes.
and crawling through them.
Yes, that was the original, the OG action movie. Like probably the one of, if in my personal opinion, that's the best action movie ever made.
Yeah. I think I've seen Last Action Hero.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Schwarzenegger,
yeah,
him.
but that's like the funny one, right? Where he's trying to get a toy.
No, that's
Oh.
Jingle.
Oh, Jingle All the Way. Okay.
I forgot what the movie called. Anyway,
Jingle All the Way?
yes,
Is it?
Jingle something. I forgot. He was trying to get a toy during Christmas. Yeah,
Okay.
but that's not Lax Action here. Yeah,
Cool. Yeah, Jared says Jingle All the Way.
Jingle all the way.
All right, man. We went on a way different rabbit hole. um, let's switch it up and move on to the reviews for this week. And I didn't actually send this to you, Bobby. So I'm not sure if you saw Watchfinder's review of this. What was it called? The zero time. They call it zero time, but zero time tourbillon T4. Watchfinder did a review.
No,
Um, basically, it's a Chinese tourbillon Richard Mille lookalike. I'm gonna pull the screen up here.
that's a mouthful right there.
the z- zero with an extra O time, skeleton tourbillon. Watchfinder reviewed this T4 with the tonneau shaped Richard Mille. And it looked pretty good for what it is. Um, but I don't know if I'd spend my money on this. But basically, yeah, they were talking about basically giving a history on Richard Mille for a good chunk of time, and then they went on to talk about this watch. It's got sapphire case sides, or four. I mean, all four sides are sapphire with a frame basically of a watch
Mhm.
case. Um, really interesting stuff. I mean, the look is definitely not for me, but very interesting watch. Um, uh, would you ever consider purchasing this, Bobby?
Uh, I don't think that's my style either.
Yeah.
Even if I had millions and millions, I would. I don't think I would ever wear. Maybe I would try to think about just wearing one Richard Mille just to feel how comfortable it is.
Right.
So I'm just wondering why they wanted to go that Richard Mille route. I guess it's so mainstream now. I guess what was the reason for making this watch? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my question. Like, it's interesting. I'm not saying it's not interesting.
Right.
It'd be interesting to look at. I don't know what was the price point.
I think it was like $1,500.
Okay.
Okay, 29.50. You get both. They say. Um, this is their Indiegogo campaign. And it's been funded. So yeah, 29.50, and you get both. This the circular one, and so I'm guessing let's say 1,500 for the.
And that makes me less confident if you're
Yeah.
saying buy two get one, like, buy one if they were making one of the watch, like, I can say that they're trying to sing, but you can get two for this much. It's like a Black Friday deal or something.
Yeah.
um but it's in I'm not saying it. I think it's somebody who wants to wear a Richard Mille, and of course can't, like, majority of people uh can't afford a Richard Mille and really loves the design of Richard Mille. I think
Yeah.
this might be a watch for them, to wear it and to have the same, type of feel. Because I think this is one of the instances where I would say try the homage watch, because you definitely um, can't, you're going to mortgage a lot of money for the real thing. It's
Yeah.
not like, like a Rolex, or this is not $1,000. This is hundreds of $1,000s. And if you want to, it'll be interesting to. I would not. I'd be really interested to see it, like, in person. I think that would be the best way. I don't think it's my style. I don't think it's my cup of tea, so to speak.
Yeah. Bill K brings up a good point. The company is based in Japan, so they actually assemble it in Japan, and so that
Hmm.
was part of what Watchfinder was talking about. The company, or they assemble the watch in Japan, so their quality control is really stringent, as opposed to, they it kind of insinuates that Chinese quality control is not as good, but um, yeah, basically good quality control, good manufacturing practices, coming from Japan. But the movement itself is a Chinese tourbillon, is what my understanding is. It's an interesting look for sure. Moving on, the next one that I was mentioning was not actually a review, but it was a repair video of a Vacheron Constantin Harmony, I think they were calling it.
Hmm.
So I kind of made its own banner. Just to quickly touch on it, this guy, the Nekkid Watchmaker, very interesting fellow, kind of funny. He has his quips, and he has a extensive library of videos that are really well received. This one was kind of interesting because you kind of see the mishandling of a service from a previous watchmaker. So he was talking about, he was taking this Vacheron Constantin apart. It's a quartz Vacheron Constantin, and the previous watchmaker had taken horrible steps to kind of bodge this watch back together. He had bent the he had messed up like the dial feet on the dial, and he had also messed up the frame around the dial. He glued it instead of friction fit it on, to kind of save a step, and that's led to issues. He had to kind of bend the minute hand upwards, um, and the hour hand was touching the dial, and so it was not keeping good time. It was a disaster basically,
It
and
was
he
such a thin watch, right?
yes, yeah, it was
And
really
that's the reason. Like, when you, especially, I think it was a quartz, right? Quartz,
yeah, yeah,
and
quartz VC,
you got to be really careful when you have that type of thin watch. Um, the
yeah,
hands, like, I saw it was like a 30-minute video, right? Um,
yep,
but it was interesting, and you can see how even before he opened it, the screws were all already so, like,
mangled,
mangled. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Eh,
and he had to make screws for the watch because he couldn't find them to purchase. So you see him kind of take a screw that had the same thread, and then kind of basically sand it down to be able to for it to be flush, um, into the into the watch, which is insane amount of work that he put into this watch, and it looked great at the end. You can also see him, um, brush how he brushes the watches. It was really interesting for me because I kind of feel like I could use these techniques now. He was using like this wooden block, which was straight, and he had this file, and so he was doing really beautiful straight brushing, and I was like, oh, I could use that, if I ever need to, um, because I have brushed center polished links, but I've done it by eye, and it's always turned out really good because I'm a bit crazy. I spend like 15 hours doing it, but yeah, I could have used this advice basically to do it right. And yeah, it was interesting to see him service a quartz movement, which I've never seen before. He took real good care of it. So yeah, super super interesting. I don't know if you watched the whole thing, Bobby.
I mean, he was the first 10 minutes was kind of like showing the watch and inspect, like and
Right.
showing the
Yeah.
screws and everything. And so I kind of fast forwarded that. So the last 20, that's where it got really interesting was him
Yeah.
showing and then how he was going to, especially those screws. That's when it started getting interesting for me.
Yeah. It was also interesting that he gave his son to do some of the work, like polishing the gold
Yeah.
or the steel, brushing the steel. I think his son helped out. Brushing the gold. Sorry, his son was helping out with that, and he mentioned it a couple of times. This is it's really expensive.
Yeah.
uh,
There was a couple of things that were really like, you can see it's, first of all, it's precious metal.
yeah.
It's a thin watch, and it's a vintage watch with like that's been used, like it's been handled probably
Yes.
not so well before. There's so many obstacles that he had to go through,
Yeah.
um, but he did a good job in the end.
He did, and I would be more than happy to send my watches to him for service. Maybe that's the point of his videos because he's got good attention to detail. Um, yeah, let's jump into the chat before moving on to our main videos. Kevin talking about the zero time. This is not for me, he says. Um, Neff says good name for a zero time. Same amount I consider this watch for. It's good. Uh, let's see. Oh yeah, Chaz was mentioning I was talking about the movement. Yeah. Um, Justin says this is the Invicta for Richard Mille enthusiasts. Uh, says come to the party. You'll have a great time. Um, all right. Jason talking about what pen did the watchmaker use to take notes with? I don't know. Be a good question. Um, Chaz says I love his videos. Always very interesting. Love his commentary. Watches look incredible when he's done. Yes, they definitely do. Um, Golden Chalice returns. Yes. Uh, he he's an interesting guy. He's almost a you're terrific for me. Like you know, when his edits are great because he mentioned like it's a quartz, and then he showed us cutout of a goat screaming. I nearly cried when I saw that. It was so good because it was so unexpected and it was so loud. The goat scream. Yeah, I had a blast watching that video. You guys should check it out. Uh, but yeah, let's move on. Let's go ahead and talk about your video, Bobby. Your pick was your terrific three things to know about before choosing a watch. Three things to know about choosing a watch. Sorry.
Yeah, I think You're Terrific is one of my favorite YouTube channels. I don't watch a lot of YouTube just because there's so much input that it's kind of like cable TV now, that you got to
Yeah,
choose your channels.
yeah,
And I think he definitely is one of my, like, you're stored in your favorites. That when
absolutely.
he puts up a review or something like that, even then it's really, he takes the effort. But this is something different. I think he had his own opinions, which kind of resonated with mine. And I think for any watch enthusiast, both new or experienced, I think he brought a lot of points that were new to the to a veteran collector like myself. I would
Hmm.
say I've been there for some time now, but um, I think he brought three things to know about choosing a watch. Like, is um, don't first, I think sizes and everything, comfort over size, and third one, know your specs. So I think I would say first one would be know your specs. That would be the
Yeah.
first thing. But I think the reason why he put that as number three is because you're going to make a lot of mistakes as
Hmm.
a watch collector. You're going to look at the size and yada yada yada, make mistake because it's too thick or because the lug to lug is uh, something that might not have been initially your in your calculation, but then you buy a Nomos or a Longa, whatever, and it's too long and it's
Yeah.
overhanging your wrist. You make that mistake. So I think by the time you reach a certain level, you should know what is your thing. You should know it's like 39 millimeters, less than 50 millimeters lug to lug. A specific height might not be there. Specific materials might. Some people don't like titanium. Some people don't like bracelets. Some people don't like a, without a micro adjustment. So on and so forth. So you should know your specs first, especially those people in the audience here who probably collect a lot of watches. I think they are still learning or are comfortable with their own specs. The second one, I think, so the first one he mentioned was the size isn't
Yeah.
everything. And I love how he says that, first of all, we always say, what's the size of the watch? What's the case diameter?
Right.
Um, and I know he brought up like watch models like the Santos and the Propolov,
Yes.
which looks really, intimidating. But he says, it's not as big as, certain other models. It's just that it's, um, what do you call it? It's, how well it wears across and what's it's less than 50 millimeters lug to lug.
I think it was
Um,
like 40, 48,
47, 47 or
48.
48 millimeters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little wide, and it wears well. And I love how he brings up a new thing, like, so most of us as collectors look at, okay, so it's 39 millimeters diameter. It's
Yeah.
lug to lug. As watch nerds, I think that's more people like us would say that lug to lug is this much. A lot of people would say that the thickness, which he says is the door jam. This is the thing that might hit. I love how he uses that subtle humor. And then the one that he kind of mentions, the second one, I think is comfort over size, is the weight. I think he
Yeah.
says now watch brands are supposed to, like, we as watchers should try to tell them to bring out the weight of the watch. But I think he used a 36 millimeter platinum day date, I
Yeah.
think, as an example. And he said his Propolov, which is 47 millimeters, is less weight than that 36 millimeter day date platinum. And
Yeah.
that tells you things about materials, weight of the watch is whole, and where is the weight distributed, right? Is it on the head of the this thing, or is it, so it'll be more on your wrist, or is it, well, is it on the bracelet, which might make you feel a little more heavier? So all these things
Yeah.
were all interesting points, especially when he said weight of the watch. I think that's something that I usually don't think about. But again, it's not usually mentioned anyway. So even if you ask
Yeah.
a brand, what's the weight of the watch, I went, are you going to buy the watch or not? But I think it was really, really unique. I like it was a very original. I don't think anybody else has brought that up, like in that type of scenario with such beautiful videography
Yes.
and audio. I think it was a
Yeah.
well made video,
It
and I
was.
rarely say that as a fan of his videos from the beginning, his watch collection, everything. I'm just a huge fan of his.
Yeah.
Um,
I agree. That was a really good summary of his video too. Thanks, Wabi. That was excellent. Um, but
thanks.
yeah, I resonated a lot with this video because it was kind of like the journey. I mean, I cringe a little when I say that, but the journey I took as I was um, getting into this hobby and all the mistakes I was making, kind of picking out a watch for myself. It was, first diameter, then was the thickness, then was the lug to lug, and recently I came to weight, and I've kind of been um, introducing that into my videos. Like I started to take the watch out the bracelet because people were asking me, "Hey, what's the weight of the watch head?" So I try to accommodate that, and it was yeah, it really made a lot of sense to me. This video, weight is super important, which is why I really wanted a titanium watch too in the first place. And he was mentioning that, and really great stuff. He also talking about the thickness and the door jam dimension or whatever he was calling it, because he mentioned that he either this dimension measures how likely he is to hit a door jam or a child. It's,
Yes,
I
yes.
was like, okay, but yeah, his unique quips are were greatly appreciated.
And that's what I love about the video, like you just mentioned. There's certain things that resonated with you. Is like when
Hmm.
he said that dimension. For me, it was the height of the door jam thing. When he said that, I was like, oh my gosh, I made so many mistakes with
Yeah,
just the thickness of the watch and how he says it. And it's very brief, but it's like he had like these points that were just. It was a high content YouTube video in a short
yeah,
period of time, which is what we're supposed to have. Um,
yeah,
uh, because I think of all the watch, and I'm just being biased here because of all the watch videos I've seen this whole week, I think that was the one I think I'll still remember months from
absolutely.
now.
Yeah, it's a great video to like refer people to too as well.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
especially people getting into the hobby. It's almost one of those all-time greats now, I would say.
it's a classic, like a classic, yeah.
Yeah.
But the problem is, because the problem when you're going to show it to a new person is know your specs, and that's where people are the new person is going to be like, I think it's 39 millimeters. I'm not sure about the lug to lug.
Yeah.
Or the new person's probably, I bought a Invicta or something like that, and it was a little big. It was 46 millimeters, so I think less than 46 millimeters. I'm not sure about the weight. So as a new person, I don't know if you can remember, but for me, even size wasn't a big issue. I just wanted to try a watch on.
Yeah.
I think my first my was a Seamaster Professional, and I just was in love with the dial of the pre ceramic, without the waves, the black dial, and
Yeah.
that just and actually at that point, if I remember correctly, um, I was able to. They offered. There was another boutique, right? Not boutique, and Rolex 80 right next door, and they had all the steel models there. They had a Submariner. They were like, "Sir, you want a Submariner? You want a GMT?" And all that stuff. And I didn't know anything. I was just, I think it was just med school or something after that, and
Yeah.
residency. And I was like, no, I just like, I went to the boutique and I was like, I like that guy's that the watch over there. It looks Seamaster, and it was the cheapest, not the entry level Omega, right?
Right.
I
Yeah.
was like, I like the bracelet. I was like, yeah, that's, and I hope that certain points in that video linger on to the new collector. I think, and he showed a lot of video, a lot of different watch models, like the Cartier
Yeah.
Santos, the Propolov. There was different Panerai. There were so many different things. It wasn't just showing a Rolex. He was showing so many, and that's why I liked about that video too. Was a variety of watches
Yeah.
along with the monologue.
Yeah. And he would be the perfect guy to make this kind of video too, because um, if you say like an actual collector making a video, because Tim also could probably make the same video, but yeah, at the same time, he kind of recommends watches that are huge for 13 centimeter wrists. So uh,
Yeah,
I think he is probably the best because like he mentioned, he likes his little dainty watches, more delicate watches, and I think he called them his big beefy boys, uh, like the Plopra. So he's able to show this wide gamut of watches on his wrist, and really,
and all the watches that he was showing was his own watches, right? That's the difference
yes,
between Tim.
yeah,
So that's why it felt original. It felt like an original take. Is like he showed us the Panerai, the Propolov, the what was the other one? I think the Cartier Santos, all of which was in his collection,
yep,
and that's what kind of it was more. Or like if Tim also said it, I definitely knowledge probably superior, but like you said, it'd probably be more of a sales pitch than
yeah, yeah.
a collector's point of view.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, for me, I think I also had that. I was never attracted to the giant watches. Like when I had the smartwatches, I was attracted to the giant smartwatch because it had a bigger screen. So purely utilitarian. But when I got into legitimate or traditional watches, I was attracted to like 42 millimeter watches, like a Citizen ProMaster, and the Black Bay 41, and things like that. I knew they were too big for me, but I did it anyway because I really wanted that watch. Um, Looking back, I probably would do it again, but yeah, knowing that it's not for me, it's just I'm gonna cringe again saying this. It was a kind of an experience, you know. I had my fun with that watch, and I wanted to have that.
That you were knowing what your specs were basically
Yeah,
with that
yeah,
experience.
figuring it out kind of
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
I I think that's
Then
the only thing that was the only critique of that video would probably be not mentioning a lot of times we as beginners, even as experience, like as years on, and we get a lot of like a lot of people just get attracted to the dial or the color, and
yeah.
not anything of size, weight, or anything like that. It's like what you just said, the big screen lingered you, lured you. Me was the black color of the Seamaster. That kind of, we were like moths to a light, like something,
Yeah.
and we didn't know the dimension of the light, but it was something was drawing us there. So that was
Yeah.
maybe the only critique of that thing. But again, it would have been a longer video.
Yeah, for sure. Jumping into the comments here, Justin says he loves his reviews. Every video you get awesome video quality. His brief opinion with sneaky humor of the watch. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Neff saying watch size is ethereal. I have 36 millimeters that wear like 38s, 44 that wear like 40s. It's very complicated. It is. And he
And
kind of touched on that too.
yeah, I
Uh,
do have to say, like for example, this year itself, the Green Dragon, the Moser Green
yeah,
Dragon, his video was very, 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 very
instrumental.
instrumental, and he was telling all everything about what he loved about the watch. I think he owned a Vacheron before, and he owns a whole array of watches, or owned, and that's why I felt like he's like kind of like a guy who's like unbiased. He's like, hey, this is what I liked about the watch. The price was the only thing I didn't like about the watch. I was like, you know what, you like it. I feel like that kind of, it's not, it didn't influence me. It just said, it just was another voice saying he approves, because he held it in his hand. I
Yeah.
never saw the watch before that time, so
And
it was a good
there's
feeling.
nothing wrong with that, because I mean a lot of us are kind of stubborn. I feel I know I am, because I want to learn it the hard way. Sometimes I feel like, um, and I've been fighting against that. Is kind of talking about pens. Um, Marcus, I've been chatting with Marcus about pens, right? And Marcus said, "Hey, there's this great deal on a pen. Do you want me to pick it up for you?" And I said, "Well, I don't like that pen that much. It's not really my style." But me trying to fight against that was trying to say he's the experienced one in that hobby, and I want to be under him for a bit, in a sense of yielding to him, to kind of glean or gain his experience, because there are watches that I purchased that I didn't like at the time that I wish I did purchase, if I took the advice of some people who are more experienced, and I think that's it's kind of a good thing to have someone you can trust, especially if you're not experienced in that section of watch. If someone that you really trust says, "I like this watch," I think you're able to say, "Cool, you vouch for it. I'll go with you."
Sure,
Um, and it can be a powerful thing,
sure.
like to give someone, right? You're giving your trust to someone.
Well,
Um,
it's like another thing, like, and this is something that may not be your forte, but movie reviews, right? There's YouTubers who
yeah,
do movie reviews. I mean, before going to see a movie, I go to a certain person or certain people who kind of have my taste of movies, and if they say they rate it out of 10, they're like, "This is a great movie. I liked blah 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 blah." But I'm not going to spoilers. You're like, okay, that you know that she or he liked that type of movie. That kind of tells me that this might have the same elements. I'm not saying this thing. I might purchase a ticket to watch that. So
yeah, yeah,
it could be for anything, like you said, pens, so on and so
right,
forth. It's nice to have a person or a couple of reviews which you do not think are biased, or not
yeah,
biased, or have an underlying agenda.
yeah, absolutely. Um, Justin also mentioned that Jody from Just One More Watch brings up weight. He does. I think he's been doing it from the beginning. It's really useful. um, James Duffy says someone should create a universal size index using all the ratios between case diameter, dial diameter, lug to lug thickness, lug hole position on the z-axis. Yeah, yeah, someone should. Lug angle, degree from the horizontal. Yeah, someone should do that. He would be greatly underappreciated though.
Yes.
um, Neff says I would love the heft of a 36 millimeter platinum day date. Oh yes, I want to flex while I'm flexing. um, let's keep going. Yeah, we need a chart. Neff says from Marcus on watch sizing. Yeah. Uh, Dib mentioned watch weight distribution is an important aspect of the watch. He did mention that. Um, I think having a lot of weight in the bracelet he had mentioned is a good idea to balance the watch head out, and it's not
And
gonna
this is a
slide
big
around.
issue with certain brands like Breitling, where the proportions don't match.
Yeah,
I'm not going to get into certain models, but they're this is like 2000s Breitling where they were first oversized, but again, some of their models were just so unevenly distributed that it made for a unpleasant wearing.
yeah. Chad says, strangely enough, Tim also recommends watches Watchbox has for sale.
I
Yeah,
did notice that too, Jess. So.
um,
But again, I do appreciate what Tim does. Everybody
yeah,
does because I
definitely.
think when you before you purchase a watch, I think the more it's really disheartening when you want to watch and you don't see it on YouTube, like the
Yeah,
watch you want, or you just see one video or something. The more videos you see, the more informed you are.
right.
You get some knowledge from every video. Some videos you might like better than others. That's the only caveat.
Yeah, it's gonna. I guess you kind of have to gauge how willing
Yeah.
you are to being a trailblazer
Yes.
when it comes to
Yes.
buying a watch. If
Yes.
there's no reviews, yeah. Underachieving watch collector says basically be discriminating when buying shiny watches. um, it's so hard not to make mistakes when buying online. Yep, he went into that too at the beginning of the video. Um, Jared says mistakes is how you learn. Unfortunately, in this hobby, the mistakes can be a bit costly. Yeah, that's kind of why you need someone you can trust. And
That's actually a good segue to our second video. Trust.
yes, yes, absolutely. Let's do that. Our second video is T3's video, which was really interesting. He went on to try and purchase a watch for his dad, who's I think it's for Hanukkah. I'm not
Yeah.
quite sure.
Mhm.
Uh,
I'm sorry. What was T3 mean?
the time teller, T3,
The time to. Okay.
the time
Okay. I
teller. Yeah,
understand. Okay.
yeah. He's used that moniker T3, like yeah, T3 bots, and he talks about verified T3 bot. You know,
Yeah.
interesting fella.
Yeah.
But
That's interesting.
yeah, to me, T3 was always Terminator 3.
Yeah. That's for me
And,
too. I was like T3. Wow. Did we see the same video?
yeah. So yeah, his dad he showed interest in this James Bond Seamaster, really the ugly one with the 007 seconds hand, and yeah, Jory said that his dad doesn't really show a lot of interest usually, and so when he showed interest here, people usually take note. And I'm guessing the family kind of got together and wanted to buy this watch for him. So Jory actually goes to this website, finds it, authenticwatches.com, I think was the website. Um, they he goes ahead and places an order. They contact him, do their due diligence, and he's really enthusiastic, and he's got this peace of mind. They ship out the watch, but the watch never gets to him, and it takes like a week. And he contacts them to see what's going on. They say, "Don't worry, it'll be there next day or something," but it isn't, and it ends up being shipped back to Authentic Watches, and so T3 calls it up and says, "Okay, what's going to happen?" And they say, "You need to give us $40 more to ship it back to you." Um, and he mentioned his tachometer was kind of redlining at that point, and he said, "Okay, fine. You know what? Just refund me the watch. I never got the watch. Just refund me the watch. And they said, well, there will be a 10% restocking fee. And then he said his tachometer was pinging off the governor, rev limiter, and yeah, he got a bit upset. Basically, he showed on the website it says no restocking fees. There was a star there. I'm not sure what that star was, but who was showing the website, and it was kind of calling them out.
Yep.
And oh no, wait, I missed a part. An important part was if they were going to send the watch back to him.
Cashware.
Yeah, he would have to send them a cash wire, not pay through his credit card, and that's where he got super sketched out. I'm sorry I missed that. That was like a really important part of the story.
Another
Uh,
10,000, right? I think it was 10,000 around the price.
yeah,
It
yeah,
wasn't like $1,000. It's a 10,000 plus
yeah.
another 10,000 cashware.
Yeah, so, he was thinking, "Hey, these guys, they didn't get the first delivery, right? What assurances does he have, to getting a cash or wire transfer, um, getting that money back if something goes wrong?" And, you know, I would be super sketched. I mean, anyone should be super sketched out at this point. Like, why? I mean, they already have the money through the credit card. Why would they need a wire transfer unless if something really shady is going on. Um, so that was where he asked for. After that was where he asked for a refund, and then they said 10% restocking fee, which
So
was
basically $1,000
yes, yeah,
just
in,
to them for them to restock the watch that they
that
didn't deliver and went
and
back to them.
it wasn't even open. So yeah, so I think this video happened quite freshly right after it, and there are definitely measures that he can take where this will be taken care of. There's consumer protection, I think, on most credit cards. He should be able to make use of that. But this basically it was a really bad bad stain on this company. It seemed I've seen this company before. When doing research about a watch, I've definitely seen this website pop up. So it was familiar to me. I don't know if you've seen this before, Bobby.
No,
Um,
but that's where I have a caveat though,
yeah.
because I think the first 3-4 minutes of the what thing he says, what do you call it? Haste makes waste or something. Take your due diligence,
Yes.
and he did this. Like it's not like he's advising, and that's why this is a more of a displacing his reaction towards the, and this is where you become biased though, right? Because you're like,
Yeah.
I'm not telling you guys not to buy this thing, but I'm never going to buy it from this company again. And it goes through the story. Like you're going to be like, oh my gosh, my story, this I'm going to be on top of this thing. But the story itself, like you said, is uh if it's true, because this is one side of the story again. Like
It
we're
is.
not
Yeah.
getting from the other side, is definitely sketchy.
Yeah.
You deliver the watch. Sorry, you send the watch to me or to Jory, and I don't get the watch. I had to pay $40 to get the watch back, but I didn't. There was no sticker on the front door, like he was saying.
Yeah.
And then you want me to cash wire you another $10,000 so you can I can get a refund, even though I already paid for it. This is like 3 weeks down the road. Like all these
Yeah.
things doesn't make sense. And the 10% restocking fee for a watch that expensive, that's why you should buy from places where you know the dealer.
Yeah.
And that's where I think he should have, the last 7 minutes of that video, he should have listened to the first 3 minutes of what he just said of know who you're buying from and
Yeah.
this thing. Because irrespective, let's say there's a and I was mentioning to a couple of people here, um, there's fake speedmasters out there, and there's people selling out fake speedmasters for great prices.
Mhm.
But if I really want, like, so for example, I wanted like a nice, Apollo 8 or whatever, I'm going to buy from reputable sources. I'm not going to go, even if it's present for because it's the holidays or something. That's how
Yes.
people get you during the holiday season. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, he could have looked at the reviews. I don't know if there was reviews. Sanjay, I don't know if you've seen reviews of the supposed site being bad or not, or there was some feedback. I only
I
saw
saw
feedback
some.
after that video of
Yeah.
comments, not
Yeah.
prior. Like that's where I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I
I.
can't say anything bad about the company. If it's
Yeah.
true, it's a bad this thing and a bad stain on that company.
Absolutely. Yeah. I saw one or two questionable comments when it comes to reviews, but nothing that would make me not want to do business with them. I mean, it's a good reminder for all of us though, because I think if I'm looking for a watch and I want it really quickly, and I don't want to go through a different channel that would take more time, right? Um, I would quickly look up reviews and maybe I would go ahead and say, okay, these guys look legit. I would do what he did basically. Um, but now though, I think I would take that extra step. Like Tim Moss always says, or not always, but he does say, if I don't have it, I can get it. And I think a lot of dealers, since they have these connections, if it's a hard to find watch like this watch might have been, you can go and ask them to source it. I mean, and they have their networks. They should be able to find it for you. Maybe you'll pay a bit more, but peace of mind, I think, matters a lot when you're spending this much money on something, right?
So
So
that's where the price range.
yeah,
If it's a $203, you might be like, okay, I'm more willing to go from
yeah,
C or D website. When you're going to 8 to 10,000 or above, I think that's where you have to be a little more careful. That's why I rarely buy from eBay.
yeah,
If I'm buying that privately, I'm not going eBay. Sorry, I don't know if it's all bots from the reviews or whatever. I would look at all the reviews first, unless I don't know it, or if somebody who, like, so for example, Sanjay, you tell me I bought from this place, I got this watch which was at this price point, I got it from them, I've had no issues.
hmm.
A person instead of an unperson, like unseen opinion, I need a person who I know saying to me, I bought.
Oh, I think you disconnected your mic.
Can you hear me?
Yep, yep, you're
Yep.
back. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
that's a good point, because I was thinking of the $200-300 range, because that's all I'm willing to spend online, period. Like for my comfort level, I need to be there and handle the watch and see the watch, which I haven't been able to get over. So I'm really limited when it comes to watch purchases and getting
yeah,
good deals and stuff,
but
because
you're
I need
you're
to
in a
be there.
particular situation where you have a wonderful AD brick and
Yes.
mortar that you live nearby to, that you can trade in watches and this thing. I would say for majority 90% of the people out there,
Yeah.
they can't. And like for me, Watchbox used to be here in South Florida. Watch You Want, they left Delray, and then there's David SW. There's some reputable sources I bought watches online from, which I trust. Like if
Yeah.
there's an issue with the watch or if they're delivery, they will take responsibility. I know them, so
Yeah.
um, but it's nice. The best scenario is brick and mortar, of course, in person,
Yeah.
and that's. I'm glad that you have that opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm really really lucky to have that, because I'm definitely not I'm not comfortable spending anything over $1,000 online. I need to get over that, but it's just, so far it hasn't happened. And I can only do the 500 maybe tops, where I'm okay with spending, and it would suck to lose that money, but it's not like I'm shooting my foot or something like that. So
True.
um, yeah,
And like you, even Amen, like Amen stories, and being
yes,
this thing. So there's always, even for the people who are experienced, it can happen to anyone, online or like virtually.
yeah. Checking in on the comments here. Neff says, "Let me guess, T3 is all upset about something." Yeah, I feel like he does it for comedic effect, and then it rubs people wrong the wrong way sometimes, but he's
It
funny.
was it was an interesting story.
Yes,
It's just it was like two tales of the same story. Like, but I like how he
yeah,
said, don't be like hasty. I think he said like let my story be a lesson or something like that. So
yeah.
at least
Interesting
that's
thing at the end though, he said, "Take my story with a grain of salt,"
yeah.
as you should with everything that I say.
Hmm.
Which is super interesting,
Yeah.
like, because if something happened to me, I'd be like, hey, I'm telling the truth. I'm not
Yeah.
saying he's lying, but
No.
it was
Exactly.
yeah, it was good that he kind of said, hey, it's an emotionally charged event just happened, so
Sure.
kind of take
But
my story with a grain
like
of salt.
you would say, Sanjay, this has happened to me. Like this is what happened to me
Yeah,
and
yeah,
take, this is my side. Like, I
yeah,
wouldn't,
yeah. Good point.
I wouldn't. It was an interesting story, and again, it will raise all the people who watch it more. Um, I like more transparency, right?
Yeah,
To site. So if there's companies doing it correctly, they shouldn't have nothing to fear. If they don't, they're not. There's more eyes on them now. So
yeah. James mentioned I lent some vintage watches to Jory to review, but I don't really watch his videos much. Maybe he'll buy them for his shop. Cool. Um, Jason saying that's so sketchy. So many red flags in his buying process. You think so?
not red flags. I think probably could have done a little more diligence. But that being
Yeah,
said, if he really wanted that particular watch and there was no other resource that he could got, like you said, Sanjay, and he didn't want to take the extra effort because it was Hanukkah. See, the
yeah,
thing is, there was a time limit.
yeah,
That's where the problem was. He wanted it
yeah,
before the holidays.
yeah. Things go bad when you're in a rush. Yeah, that's a Jason mentioned. I'll just call my credit card company and cancel the transaction. Yeah,
True.
that's where the consumer protections come into play. So
Yep.
it's good.
That's what I would have done too.
Yeah.
That's smart. That's a
Um, Jason, or sorry, Neff saying he's very negative. I don't need any more negativity in my life. Yeah, I hear you. Um, Plus, I've talked to him and seen him interact with his viewers in Saturday live streams and a piece of work. Oh, okay. I've never actually spent time with him on their live streams or anything. So,
I haven't until you mentioned the video. I I haven't watched. That's why I was like T3. I didn't know. So
yeah,
I was like, time to okay. So
yeah. Sam asked, so did he pay the fee? No, he didn't. From my taking of that video, he didn't. Dan seems to know authentic. It's like Joma Shop. Okay, I've heard bad things about Yoma too. um, eBay has authenticity check right now. Might be okay now. I've heard some
um,
horror stories about that too. it's it's another step. It's kind of like when cars keep adding these doodads. I'm I'm putting on my Hogan's Hero hat here. Uh, these all these doodads and it's just another thing for it to break. And the the guy from Hot Hot Ones, yeah,
watch
Max,
Max. Yeah.
Max, yeah, Watch Crunch with Max. He sent his watch over to an eBay authenticator, and FedEx lost a shipment. So it's just another step in a ladder where things could go wrong.
Yeah.
It's yeah,
It's something new. It's not established. So,
yeah,
but that being said, when you reach a certain price point, that's where you need to be. And
yeah,
for me, that's like a 10,000. That if you're going that level, I want to know who the person I'm dealing with is. There shouldn't be any third party that
yeah,
watch is going to, because the more, because like you said, Watch Crunch Max, he lost his thing at the FedEx thing, and he was selling his watch, right? So
yes,
he's the one who lost the money.
yeah,
Like the other person got his money refunded. Um, the FedEx, I don't know if it was stolen from FedEx, the holding facility.
yeah.
Who knows? But that's scary.
Yeah, there was a guy who did this AirTags experiment with FedEx. I don't know if you've seen this video. It got pretty popular, but you know how Apple has released AirTags where you can track
Where it
where
goes.
your phone or where your wallet might end up. He put AirTags in a shipment, and it ended up in a DHL facility, and they said the parcel was lost, but it was in their facility, and he could tell exactly where it was too, like within a meter or
Wow.
something of where that package was, and they were saying you couldn't find it, and they said fill out this form and we'll pay you back whatever it was supposed to. But when he pushed back, they actually went looking for it and found it. So I I don't know what happened with Max, but I hope they found his package. I really do.
I don't think so. I should.
Yeah,
I know Max, so
yeah,
I texted him because he had to file a police, all that stuff, report and everything, and I
yeah.
don't think he hasn't gotten it. It's been a month now, more than a month.
Oh yeah,
I
it's
should
been
I
a
should
long
double
time.
check that now. So I
Yeah,
probably
it's been like three
follow up.
months, I think.
I should follow up on that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I remember that every once in a while. I think of Max, and I'm like, oh man, that's heartbreaking. um, yeah,
he also makes good videos.
he
Max.
does. He does. Um, James says, when we get excited about a watch, our judgment can be clouded. Yeah, happens to the best of us. Joey mentions, I buy using all different means, online retailers, eBay, Chrono24, in person, at an AD, Facebook, Reddit. As long as I trust the seller and the product, I'm willing to take the risks.
Yeah, I think. But Joey also says, and right after that, I agree though that hitting certain price point, I max out at for 4 to 5K
Yeah,
before I can sit, because that's when you have to trust the retailer
yes,
and the
absolutely.
watch. Because then you can take before that. I would take the risk too. From
Yeah. I mean, $20 AirTag can mean a lot if you're doing like 5,000,
it's
six
actually
thousand
not a
dollars.
bad thought, to put
Yeah,
AirTags
yeah,
in your thing, and then it can. Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea.
yeah. It pings off any iPhone, unless if you're in South Korea, because they're not allowed to do that there. He actually, the video, the guy sent the AirTag to North Korea, and
Wow.
it was pinging off someone, if I'm not mistaken, and they sent it back to him. No, I don't think they sent it back, but something happened. Um,
That'd
but
be interesting though. Like, is that could be that be a future of like deliveries? Like, I'm going to send you with an AirTag. You pay the AirTag, including with shipping. Like, you know how they say
yeah,
shipping excluded. Pay for the AirTag and shipping, and then
it's cheaper almost than insurance
yeah,
for after a certain amount of money, or say you're shipping a $10,000 watch, it's cheaper than the insurance for that.
true.
Um, I'm not saying you should forego insurance, but
Yeah,
but the interesting thing was, when this guy sent the packages to, he sent one to Tim Cook, so Apple CEO. Um, the AirTag was pinging on the flight, so he knew when the plane had taken off and it was in the middle of a desert, it pinged off the pilot's iPhone, which the pilot shouldn't have been using, and it let him know where the the package was. It's
so
crazy.
it told him about FAA um, rules violations
Yeah,
while the thing was being done.
yeah, yeah. It's super fascinating that this thing is a
AirTags
thing.
only ping off iPhones, right? Not
Yeah,
Android. Okay.
yeah. Only iPhones, which isn't a biggie because everyone has an iPhone. Pretty much.
I guess I'm one of them now.
Yeah. Hey Galco, good to see you. It says AirTags are nice. They are nice. And
But
lots
I'm
of people have
told that if you use an AirTag, like because you said everybody has an iPhone. Let's say somebody took your whatever,
yeah,
your package. If they had an iPhone, they will find out that there's an AirTag in the box, right? I think
I think so.
so. That's the only conundrum is if the
Yeah.
person taking it or something, the package also has an iPhone,
Yeah.
he will or
Well,
she will know. I'm just saying if it's good for lost deliveries and everything like that. But if
yeah.
somebody's actually taking the package has an iPhone, that's where the AirTag I think is going to be a problem.
Yeah, I think it's part of the avoiding being tracked by someone feature. So if you have
Yeah.
an
Mhm.
iPhone, it will let you know that, hey, there's an AirTag near you. It's been near you for a while. Um, I think on the case of that pilot, he couldn't do anything about it. There was probably like 200, 300 packages
It's
in
like
the plane. So, yeah.
let's throw away the cargo.
Yeah. Abort mission. Eject.
It's
Yeah, that's good. Um, but yeah, guys, I think that that does it for tonight. It was really great chatting with you all in the chat, talking about everything and anything and everything here, from movies to AirTags to iPhones to MacBook Airs,
to your
and a little bit of,
terrific video. Yeah.
yes, a little bit of watches in there.
Yes.
But thanks so much, Bobby. It's always fun to chat with you. I really appreciate that you came on, and yeah, I hope you have a great week. Do you have anything coming up this week? I know I asked you yesterday, but
No,
um,
I'm actually trying to configure this thing and I'm trying to use the iPhone to try to take macro shots.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
going to try to use. I've never tried. I know that the iPhone has good macros, so I'll try to do that, and then try to play around with that, but nothing
yeah,
for content yet.
yeah. Keep an eye out for that. I will. Your Instagram is at Watch Medicine.
Yes.
So if you guys want to see the iPhone escapades here,
Yes.
go check that out. With me, I hope to do a couple of reviews upcoming. I'm slacking, falling
Okay.
behind here.
So every review besides the Zenith, right? I just want to make sure the Zenith is not. Okay.
No reviewing the Zenith yet.
Good.
Seiko and Longines are
Yes.
need to be reviewed.
So
Uh,
there was a question, I think, and I think Wilson was mentioning it earlier. Do you
yeah,
have a sound when you move your wrist? Does it get loud? The rotor,
not on my one. Not I've had two sector dials. I had the silver one and
the black one.
the black one now. I don't have rotor noise, so
Okay. Okay.
but I have heard a lot of things about that, and I know a friend of mine reached out to me about it too,
Okay.
about the rotor noise. So it's interesting to hear that that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because Wolfgang has a problem with this too. The rotor noise. You mentioned that.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, we, was it Wilson mentioned that his was quiet for 2 weeks and then it started to sound really loud. So maybe mine will start to sound weird. We'll see.
Hopefully
I'll wear
not.
it for a bit longer and
Yeah.
yeah, see how it gets going. All right, guys. Well, I hope you all have a great week. We didn't talk too much about pens, so that's good. Take care, everyone. Remember, you guys are infinitely valuable, and I appreciate you all. And I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Happy holidays.